Morning all. It's a little bit different this morning. For those of you who like Wells next to sea, I'm just going to show you a little clip of what I get up to. My weekend routine normally is to check our little boat. So we've got a little 20-foot crab boat, which is obviously a retired crab boat now. We just use it for sort of an odd fishing trip and a bit of pleasure, going for a jolly around the quay and stuff like that. I'm just going to show you a few of the boats. So we're actually in the outer harbour. It's almost high tide and it's a really strong wind, so I'm going to have to be careful I don't let this camera go. But anyway, so I'm just going to show you what we've got down here. Some really lovely little boats down here. If you like boats, this is going to be the clip for you. I'm going to go up to the quay as well, because the water is just about over the quay wall. A lot of you won't probably have seen that before, but yeah, so there's a nice little fishing boat at the end there. Harvey Boy, owned by Ross Fulford, has been for years now. Nice little ex-lifeboat there on the end there. I'm not sure the guy who owns that, but yeah, it's always parked in the outer harbour here. You can see we've got loads and loads of little yachts, other little fishing boats there as well. So when I go back, I'll walk down there and show you. I mean, I have got some drone footage of this, and you know, you can see how high the tide is. The wind is whipping about. I might just go over the bank as well, and we'll have a look over there as well, where the boathouse is. But yeah, so we're just going to walk back now and have a look at these boats, which is on the outer harbour. Some lovely little boats. That's a nice little boat there. Look. Nice little ones. Then I'll show you what we've got, which is our little crab boat. All these ones here. I guess a lot of these will be wanting to come out now for winter. They get stored up. It's the wind whistling on the mast, the string slapping on the mast at the top there. You can see that. So slapping away. Yeah, these little boats here, look. So this is the outer harbour. It's under lock and key down here, so things are fairly secure. We'd like to think, anyway. But this is our little boat, the Four Brothers. I've been on that several years now. We go fishing and parties and other little bits and pieces we do on it. But yeah, it's a lovely little boat. That was actually a working boat, but retired, and now belongs to us. So there's four of us. There's me and my three brothers that own it together. I'm just giving it a run now, just to charge the battery to make sure the pumps are working in the bottom there. But yeah, there she is. I'll just let that have a warm up, and we'll have a wander down the pontoon. Got all these down here. Somebody must be staying in there. They've got the bikes here. It's a nice little boat there as well. It's another little boat. I'm sure this Sapphire one, it done fishing trips. Oh, that's Ben's father, I think. What's that? God, it's really windy. It's a nice little boat there, look. Imagine that on a summer's day, open. Nice beer, glass of wine. Nice little one there as well. Got this one's in here too. These ones. Magic fly. These are all covered up. Yeah, we do get terrible trouble with the seagulls down here. They like to sort of roost on the boats and do tend to make quite a bit of a mess actually, but you see a little bit there, look, which that's a nice little crab boat as well. This one here, little Sally Elizabeth, lovely. This Lady Lynn, I know that's Fred Whitaker's. It's his little boat. I'm sure he'll take that out before long now. Then there's Will's boat, and then there's the Arendora Star 2, which belongs to my dad and my uncle. They use that for fishing, which is the A&M Prairie shellfish, and then the Fiddler's Green. I'm not sure who owns that, but I would quite like that one. Just go back to the Arandora. There, I know my father spent many hours standing at the front of that hauler there, hauling pots in, and Andy on there as well. I know Will goes with them now to carry on. So yeah, imagine the conversations on that, eh? And this one as well. I've got I just had a chat with a guy on this big one here this morning. He's all the way from Harwich, and it's really quite rough out there, so he's going to be here for 2 days now, and just sort of let the weather sort of calm down a bit. There's a nice little skiff there as well, but yeah, I think it's going to be a bit rough out there today. I don't know if I could zoom in out there and see. Yeah. I mean, we are just looking across to the East Hills. You can see the East Hills in the distance there. Yeah, the tide is still running. I think 9 o'clock's top of tide, but they're still running due to the wind. So we'll see. But I think they'll be here for at least 2 or 3 days until it all calms down. Then we've got the Gladiator over there, which belongs to Phil. And the new lifeboat. I'll pop over there and have a look. Look at this great big boat. But that's really good at sea. Really good. But yeah, they're across here testing waters, quite close. Listen to them engines. Sound really cool. Sounds really good. But they're charging batteries and other bits and pieces too. But yeah. I don't really know much about this one, but we sort of see this boat quite regular. And then we've got the Carry Hedge Wells dredging rig here, which is basically a Libra 360, which has been chained down. And then you've got those 2 great big posts, which if I show you there, which is like an anchor. So they lift those up and down, and then they can anchor it, and it's for digging this outer harbour out. Because the circumstances have changed, this doesn't get used very much now, because we used to rely on the wind farm boats, which came in for, you know, quite a lot of money to keep it going. But now the wind farm boats don't come here anymore. Yeah, they haven't quite got enough money to run it, I don't think. But anyway, and there's a little boat there, a little army boat. Look, that is my dad's and my uncle's, and they use that for collecting the mussels, which I've got mussel beds over there somewhere. But yeah, still a busy little place, you can see. Have a wander down and switch the boat off again. Yeah, we'll have a look at Will's little fiberglass crab boat here, the Gladiator. It's a nice little boat too, look. Really tidy. You like the sound of that though, don't you? I bet that's a caterpillar in there. Caterpillar. I'm not sure it's a V8, but I think the lifeboat one, what we had, that was a V8, didn't it? Or 2 V8s, I think, in there. Really cool. Crusader. And we've got the Arandora Star too, look. I do like that little star in the front there. It's quite cool. It's really windy. I hope there's not too much wind on the video. So here we are. You can just see now that that's going to be top of the tide round about now. Get over to the boathouse and have a look over there. Listen to that, can you hear it? So there we are, we just checked the boat in the outer harbour. Oh, it's windy. I'll just show you across there. This is the outer harbour at Wells. You see all the boats all lined up. There's our little boats in there. Look. All these other ones all lined up. And a big survey boat there. Like I say, from Harwich. They are staying on that boat now for a few days. It's an old lifeboat. Right, let's go and look at our lifeboat. Our new one. So there it is, Wells Outer Harbour. Shows there. So this is Wells Lifeboat Station. Our new boathouse. It's been here, I think it's about 3 years now. You could actually have your name written on the side of the boat if you wanted to when they were making the boat, which is what all these little names and that are for on here that you see. So this is a replica of the sticker which is on the side of the boat, and there it is. Here's the other one here. I'm pretty sure, so it's RNLI and then it's 13 because it's a Shannon class lifeboat, and it's number 46 off the production line. I'm sure that's how it goes. I'll just try and find some information here. Anyway, so we've got these little wellies that hang along here. Look, I'm sure they got people's names on them or messages, I think. Yeah, there's one here. Look. Yeah, very nice. So we'll go round the front now, and we'll see. You see the launch and ramp, and the visitor centre. It's really quite cool. Ah, there you go. Look, it says that. Look. Was it built 2022? Look. So yeah, it's 3 years ago. Yeah, so they've got the shop here. Look, a bit early, so it is still closed. I'm just showing you now. I mean, I will probably do a video when I can get in there one day and have a look round. But yeah, there's the inshore. You can see in the back there, not very well, but anyway, the big boat's in there. Shannon. This is the front of the lifeboat shed. My goodness, can't believe it. We've got windsurfers out here. My God. Anyway, this is the front of the boathouse. We're just walking down the ramp now. I can't believe how many windsurfers are out there. Oh gee, it's really windy. Really, really windy. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 windsurfers out this morning. 10. And there we are. I guess it's really windy. Look at the windsurfers. You see them all going up there? It's going to be cold. There's the ramp for the boathouse there. There's something quite interesting there. Look, these on the side of the boathouse. There's something there I ought to put on a video really to keep people safe. Or the effort there. Look. A lot of people get cut off, and the insurer is always being called out. So it's 4 hours before high tide. There's some information there. Some of my drone stuff I done quite a long time ago, that is. And Mandy's put that all together very well. Yeah, if you're ever in Wales, this is a great little trip to go on. Really is. And just going to have a wander down here because people would not believe that this bit here, the beach calf, you would not believe how busy this gets in the summertime. It never looks like this. Never. You are lucky to even move down here. Yeah. Anyway, they've got the jewels over there and the beach calf. At the moment it's making me really hungry because I can just smell bacon. Absolutely lovely. But yeah, give them a look. Something else as well for people to take on board. Look, the high water times are always displayed on the toilets down the car park. So they're here. Look. You don't very often see the car park like this, like many spaces. Anyway, we'll get to the quay and we'll go and have a look at the water coming over the top. Beach calf. So here we are then on Wells Quay. Got a sign here from the female fishermen, Nigel and Ashley. There's the old loading gantry, the old mill. You'll see it's all been converted now. But look, the tide is now going out now. Didn't quite make it over the quay today, but I think yesterday and before that was over. So yeah, not quite as much of a worry. We've got Andy McCullum's fishing boat, the two brothers. Crabs, lobsters and wilks he goes for. We'll just walk along the edge now. You can see where the tide's been over. Look, probably just this morning, just lapped over. And there's the albatross. It's looking quite high this morning. I know they've had quite a lot of work done to it, but I'm not quite sure when they're going to put it on the so you can go on there and have cups of tea and that yet. Yeah, it's looking really well. Yeah, she's quite high up on the quay this morning. Look at that. Albatross. See there, look. It's just over the water, over the wall. It's the harbour office. It's the old lifeboat shed, the old lifeboat shed. Got the horse up there. Go and have a look at him. So there we are, we've got the horse on the pontoons. There is a bit of a story to the horse. Celebrating the horses which used to pull the lifeboat down to the water's edge to get recovered. That's why we've got him. Nell Diana, it's a big crab, lobster and whelk boat. Andy McCullum's. We got other little boats in there. And then the tidal tower at the end. Measures the tide. I'd like to look in that one day. Quite interesting, I think. Yeah, look, you can see how high the water is. Just a different view of the quay now with the lifeboat, with the albatross and the loading gantry. Be quite cool up there, I should think. The old chandlery. There's now actually a wine bar in there. The old shipwrights. Just remember that as a pub as a kid. So we've got a few more boats in the quay. We've got a lot of these fishing boats which are lined up on the pontoons here. I mean, they do that because if they are on the edge of the quay and then, you know, the tide is in and the wind is pushing them in, they could end up on the quay. So they use these pontoons now as a sort of a safety thing. So we've got Ben's sea fishing trips on here. Look, it's always a good one to go for. And there's another one here somewhere. And we've got the Wells Harbour tours too. So if you want a tour, get one booked. We just walked past there, shower block here now on Wells Quay. See there, look, we've got a sign up there, looks quite cool. And we've got these other, that must be a visiting boat on there, it's quite nice. These other ones, old boats. This is quite a nice little sign that's been put on there at the end there. Leave your daily stresses and strains behind. Take a minute to look across the harbour towards the horizon under the big Norfolk sky and contemplate how awesome life is. We hope you relax and enjoy your time here at Wells Harbour. And we've got the tide station. I've never actually had a look at that or been in there. I must make that a to-do list. And you've got Wells Harbour office. I have to imagine that's a really old lifeboat shed from years ago. Anyway, we're going to have a walk down to the gantry now and have a look at that. That's the unloading platform for the ships years ago. Can you imagine ships in here, 2 and 3 abreast? I mean, I used to love to come down and watch them before I used to go to school. Just come biking down here on my BMX bike, stand there and watch them. Just have the big green sheets up so the dust didn't blow into the shops and stuff. You know, there would be the 22 RBs, drag lines on there. They used to be unloading with a grab bucket. Yeah, I think it was the Able twins, Able brothers, yeah, Able twins that used to drive them. And then there was Nigel Hingley. He was one of the operators too. He's a good old boy, Nigel. Just walking back alongside the Albatross. I have been on there and I've seen some of the work that they've done to it inside. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it'd be nice when that's open. And we've got the Golden Fleece there. It's one of the oldest buildings on the quay, that is. More delights from Wells, look. A wilk pot with the ropes all ready to go. You can see there, look. Some more delights from the sea. These crab pots. See all these here, look. How the weed all gets wrapped in there, look. See, it's really good. Really good. Morning, Clive. So we just get all the way along to the quay. It's a really nice little coffee shop there, look. Wheels of Wells. He's the guy who owns the Albatross, so his father is. Go and get a coffee. So here's the great big mill, which was converted into flats. As you can see, it's quite a big building, that is. Can you imagine the work what went into that years ago to build that, and how strong it would have to be to hold all the weight in there, all the grain. But yeah, there's the gantry, or the Favour Parker chute. Used to have a big sticker in the middle there, Favour Parker, it said there. Yeah, there it is. Bit of a landmark, that is. Definitely is. I'll go around the back and show you around the back, because that's quite interesting. That's where the lorries would have gone in there. And there is actually in fact, I'll show you, there's a mark on the side of the wall there, where the tide levels have been there. Can you see that? Yeah, so there are the levels of the tide, look, you can see. You see this one here, look, this one. It's not that long ago, I remember that. In fact, I was here that night. I was round the corner, round here. All this was completely flooded, and the chandlery round the corner, the boats were actually floating in the yard. But yeah, so we're just round the back of the granary now, and this is where the lorries used to come round here. They used to load in here. There was like a little bay in there, I mean, it's all converted. It's all very nice, but yeah, some real history to this old place, real history. My good God, it's really windy today, really windy. Yeah, look at that. So I'm just walking along the quayside now. You can see the gantry at the top there. Just going to cross over. You can see some metalwork of it all. But yeah, look at that. Real history there. Imagine how many thousands and thousands of tons of grain has been carted across there. And then it was dropped from the end there. Great big chute just to come down into a ship which was waiting there, ready to go to different countries, or even just further along the coast. There's the Marfreen, belongs to Billy. I think that's the Salford. Is it Salford? Yeah, it's a Salford there. She's a big boat. She was a welker. So we're now just under the gantry. Great big building. And then we got what you call tugboat yard. For obvious reasons, it's where they were moored up. And there's two wooden posts still there, which extended the quay line. I'll show you those in a minute. Well, we're right next to the lobster hatchery now. You can see here, look. So they do in there exactly what it says on the sign. There's little baby lobsters. And they got tanks in there. And they sort of breed them in there. And then release them. I know the harbour office are always sort of taking a batch out through the year, which is quite nice. Yeah, just while I'm walking past, look, there's the chandlery, which is now the wine bar. Used to belong to John Crook in there, selling all sorts of boating stuff. Used to get quite a lot of things out of there. But yeah. So we're now in Tugboat Yard. You can see there now it's a lot of things to do with Lucy Lavers, the lifeboat, Liverpool style, and then we've got on there now that the Ernest Tom. I can remember the Ernest Tom when she was out on the sea. But yeah, so this is Tugboat Yard, look. God, it's really windy. Walk to the edge. All these boats along here. There's another good boat to get on. Trips and that. Can't do. Always in the kit. Follow the morning's page to see. It's windy today. The lights at Wells next to sea. I'm going to show you the end of this part of Tugboat Yard. Then I'm going to get a nice cup of tea, I think. There's Lucy Lavers. See there, look. There she is. Show you how board. If I just go back without falling in the water. There we are, there's a board. I go for a trip. See how ship rides. Tide is really high. Then you've got the east end up there, which we know is the brickyards, crab sheds, whelk sheds. There's the old Salford, look, there. It's my girls. Lovely lot of boats in there. You got Ben's, Blue Waters, another one. got his board up on the quay as well. So there we are, there's a little trip to the boat, to the quay, to the beach. On a windy day. So that's it from me. So I'm now walking under the gantry. Walking back to my truck now. Oh, it's windy. I'll see you Monday for another farming video. See you again, bye bye.